From welcoming Kevin Durant back once again to Draymond Green on his way out, anything is possible for the Warriors ahead of what promises to be a massive summer. Despite an average ongoing season, the Warriors are expected to make changes in the offseason rather than in February. The 2022-23 NBA season hasn't gone as Steve Kerr would have imagined back in June. The Warriors have only managed to sneak up 500 on a couple of occasions all season long. And with Steph Curry's latest injury, you'd expect the Warriors to fall down the list of favorites for the NBA title. It's a bit of a shame that the defending champions haven't been able to replicate last season's playoff form, but I guess you can expect that after so much success in recent years. A bit of a fall off, a transition period, if you must, definitely follows. What the current season has done positively for the Warriors, though, is that they've realized that they can't go another season with the same backbone. They need changes.
Over Morris headed the other way. The Wizards miss the follow. Poole comes out. Somehow the Warriors come up with a stand. Curry, three on the way. Yes, sir!
And those changes need to come quickly and fast this offseason. Many NBA insiders believe the same too. They just don't expect the Warriors to go big ahead of the deadline, and that's understandable, even in light of Steph's injury. But the summer seems to be a summer of change for the Warriors. There's a lot to address, and some big and exciting trades could be on the horizon for them. For instance, they'll need to address the Draymond Green problem. Green has been one of the most integral parts of this Warriors lineup. He was ever present in their glory days and played a crucial role in helping the team win 4 NBA championships. But like everything else in the world, there's an expiry date on Draymond's too, and it's fast approaching. When things are going well, there are few players better than Green. Unfortunately, the ugly side can come out when individual levels start to dip somewhat, as we saw with the Green-Jordan Poole incident over the summer. Despite that, there's another major issue for the Warriors in the shape of Draymond, his expiring contract and his massive demands. Green wants a max contract. This is understandable from his perspective, but it's probably not worth it for the Warriors. They know he's been a huge part of their success, but it's time to move him on because a big contract for Green might not justify his contributions. At the same time, I feel that this summer would be the ideal time for the Warriors and Green to part ways. Draymond could still secure a decent payday with one of the other franchises, and the Warriors will have the option to get a replacement, in which I'll get to later in the video. But that's not the only outgoing issue that the Warriors front office faces. There's also the issue of Klay Thompson entering the final year of his contract, and the choice for the Warriors was obvious last offseason, and it's still the same. Given their massive luxury tax spending, the Warriors will need to choose between Draymond and Klay. Right now, it's likely that they keep Klay and let Draymond leave, but if they do decide to make some big moves in the summer, there's a possibility that the Warriors could move both of them on. Klay has definitely shown enough to get a new contract with the Warriors. At the same time though, what happens if one of the many franchises in the NBA comes knocking for Thompson? The problem is, Jordan Poole is emerging as a starter very quickly. Even this season, it's felt a bit unfair leaving him on the bench. But the Warriors have been somewhat lucky because with Steph injured, ironically, it's given a chance to Poole to impress, and he's done just that. That's why I feel that the Warriors could potentially decide to move Klay on, unless he accepts the role as a sixth man and is happily agreeing to a cheaper contract.
Vincenzo attacking, dropped it back for Looney. An open Poole. Better pass to Klay for three. That's nice. Jordan could have launched that.
Which would obviously be the ideal scenario for the Golden State, given that they also need to address their second timeline. Yep, the Warriors will need to make some major decisions on some of their youngsters. I think as far as the Warriors are concerned, they've found 2 gems in the rough with Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. Those 2 players just didn't turn out to be as good as the Warriors initially hoped. And while they're still young, the Warriors will need to prioritize one of the 2 timelines. This season can be written off as beta testing, and I'm from the era where you don't write off the Warriors, so I'm still cautious about saying that the defending champions can't go all the way. All that said and done, the Warriors can't afford to adopt the same approach for next season and waste the Steph Curry timeline. He's still got it in him, and despite the injuries, I feel Curry can do a great job for many years to come. As a result, it would be the smartest idea to let James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga a leave. Probably for both the parties involved, as they're definitely talented, but not what the Warriors are looking for, which wraps up the big-name outgoings.
Looney banging and bumping and finishing. See how big Jalen Williams is. Santa Clara, Jalen Williams. Dropping into Kenrich Williams, stolen by Clay. Outlet to Steph. Got to beat Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wiggins soaring in, a little Air Canada.
And now allows us to look at the exciting part, the possible incomings for the Warriors in the summer. I know we were hearing names like LeBron James to the Warriors, and again, given the fantastic script writing in the NBA, I'm not going to be the one that rules out any move. But a more likely trade could be Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors. Think about it. The Warriors were interested in bringing him back even in the offseason when he threw his toys out. But now, he genuinely has a reason for Kyrie having left already. There will be a lot of competition for Durant, from the Phoenix Suns to the Boston Celtics, but expect the Warriors to be in the mix.
Really good basketball. Dominguez hit 1-3. How about another?
That was the pass. Ultimate shooter's mentality. Doesn't matter, you missed the last one.
Do you remember what Steph said about a possible move for KD in the summer? That definitely hasn't changed after the kind of season he's having. I expect the Warriors to be on their toes once the summer rolls in and KD's available. And I wouldn't rule out the Warriors moving for one of his teammates either. Yeah, the Golden State could provide a new home to Ben Simmons. With Draymond out of the picture, the Warriors will need a defender. And I know Simmons isn't exactly the player that floats everyone's boat, but if he is to succeed as an NBA player, the best chance of it happening is with the Warriors, where he'd be surrounded by scorers and shooters.
And if it's half court to half court, that favors Washington. Jordan Poole, corner three. Nice creation from Wiggins there. Lamb had that brilliant first half in Chicago with 14. Steph, the ball handling, the contact, the bucket.
And he can go about doing his defending business on his own. If that's not what the front office opts for, then they should be hoping that OG Anunoby remains in Toronto until the summer. In fact, I wouldn't even think twice before moving for Anunoby even ahead of the deadline. He's a talent that you can break the bank for.
If you're on that deep corner, on that baseline, that is the perfect place to come from.
Not to mention, he's young and talented and has added scoring to his game as well. Anunoby will cost a lot, but he solves the Warriors' defensive woes, especially if they plan on letting Green leave in the summer. But if they don't want to go all out before the deadline, a possible trade with the Utah Jazz could help improve defensively for this season, and a talented defensive-minded player in Jared Vanderbilt, possibly at the cost of Moses Moody alone. Whatever happens though, the summer promises to be a big one for the Warriors. That's all from me. See you next time.